Okay, folks, good morning. Saturday morning, gonna do some painting. Our traditional 1 hour painting session or so on Saturday morning. And let's just clean up this whole area. What's this that's over here in this area? Wow, my vehicles. So we were working on last night. If you missed how we got these vehicles up to this stage, they're not completely done. And watch the last couple of videos. We took these lumps of resin and turned them into something more presentable. And but we're not going to mess with these this morning because, well, even though to be honest with you, I'm kind of jonesing to work on these, not the 15s, but I kind of set the limit of only going to work on 15s in the morning because at the end of the day, after working all day, I'm really not interested in. I'm just too tired to work on the 15s. And it's not because they're small or anything. It's just this is more exciting because I can kind of do it in whatever direction I want to. These two just happen to be the same paint scheme, but that's what we're going to do at night so we can keep ourselves up a little later so we don't stay up, go to sleep at like 9 o'clock. But we're going to go to the 15s in the morning. So we do need to finish these Hungarians at some point. So back at it. And this is going to look like a mess. Watch this. Man, there's a big old green spill over there. I probably am going to work on the 20mm vehicle some more today, but not during this session, and not tomorrow morning either. Tomorrow morning we've got the traditional long session of about 3.5 hours at least. We're going to reserve that for 15s as well. So that's really all I've been able to do lately is the Saturday morning and the Sunday morning for the 15. So I figured, hey, if I painted something else in the evenings that I normally can't get around to doing anyways, it's a bonus, right? I don't know, and I'm sure there's some of you out there that don't want to see the 15s. You'd rather see vehicles, but we'll try to mix it up a little bit. Get other stuff done. I really don't have an agenda on when to get the vehicles done by, since I don't know if I'm ever going to use them in battle, but we'll see. I am starting to feel kind of the juices flowing of getting that done at some point. So possibly put on a game at some point in the future, but it's hard to say. It's a lot of work for me. So okay. Right now we're just taking it as being creative. So all right. I think this guy's his leather armor is done, so we're gonna go ahead and do his face and stuff. Bring him a little to life, and see if we can't do that. Let's see. Let's add a couple more drops of this. I think World War II is a lot more popular than ancients and medieval, but the prospect of getting a battle done is a lot more likely in ancients and medieval, because for one, I don't have to relearn the rules. So that's really what it's all about, is just having a good time. So learning rules and stuff like that. That's not necessarily um, my idea of fun. Some other people might enjoy it, but it's just um, it's just something you got to deal with. But all right, we're gonna make a dark shade here. I still have an El Cheapo black to mix here, or we won't be using Vallejo black for this. I already have a big lump of it here, so figured I might as well have it. I already made a big mess with it, so. uh, that's what we're going to use. Oh, and look, I forgot to store it upside down. Let's go ahead and put it upside down. There's still plenty in there, but and I bought two spares. I don't know if you guys uh, heard when I mentioned it earlier. I used this black paint. I use craft paint for like doing terrain and stuff that I got to do a significant amount of painting with. So I don't want to use Vallejo for that because you just go through it all a lot. And due to the issues in 2020, there's been a craft paint storage shortage in the stores. At least the stores I go to. Which in this case would be Hobby Lobby and Joann's. That's what we have. So there he's just been flat out cleaned out, like the end of the world was coming or something. And I had gotten to go get black or something. I gotten to get some colors, and they were out of just about everything. So when I did see that they had it again, I bought two bottles of the black paint. So and a couple other colors. The stuff is so cheap. I don't know. I think it's a restocking issue. It's a manufacturing issue, and it's people that are doing hobby stuff that normally didn't used to do hobby stuff. So a mixture of different things. So I'm like, well, we're not going to run out of that stuff again. Because one of these things of black paint, I'm probably good for 3 years, maybe more. So, when no more gets made and the zombies are running around the neighborhood, then I'll still have black paint. I was using it a lot more because before using this wet palette, that's what I would use as my black and my white because I was going through a lot of it and I didn't want to spend the, the Vallejo cost just to get it when I was going through a lot of it. And, but now, I can put some black here and it's good for a week. So, well, we're going to try working on some of my 20 millimeter projects off and on. I enjoy the variety, and maybe I get enough of the stuff painted, then I can't help but doing some World War II gaming. But don't expect any of that stuff to be filmed in the short term because we got to get we got to refamiliarize ourselves with the rules. So, all right, let's bring this up here. Scott, good morning. Wow, that's early for you, I think. Hopefully, you don't have to work today. It's the first day I've painted all week that I didn't do, working. Oh, that sucks, man. It's the first day I've painted all week where I didn't, I'm working on my 15s because I don't know if you missed it, but hey, we got some old school 20 mils going. They're not completely done, but this is what I've been working on nights. So this is going to be my night work. We're going to be doing World War II stuff at night because it keeps me up. This is just, um, hey, the painting of the World War II keeps me up, but the gaming of it makes me fall asleep, and the ancients and medieval are the opposite. So just try and mix it up a little bit. Um, I wasn't being very satisfied with only painting 2 days a week. So we needed to add some more painting in there, and yeah, get some more stuff done. Not buying more things, just getting through the pile of things. All right, let's bring this up a little bit more. Mhm. Just wanted to say hi from the river dancer. Good morning, Harvey. Uh, Looking forward to a chance of playing some World War II. Um, it could happen. It could happen in 2021. It could happen. I think I know how I'd go about it. So we'll put everybody on one side and I'll run the other side. But let me, it's been 1 week and we've gotten 2 vehicles painted. So it's going really good. Now, my World War II is not vehicle based, it's more based on infantry, but I've got enough infantry now to kind of get everybody by. It's just kind of sell the other stuff. And there's a painter, I don't remember what his name is, that I came across recently who's been doing a lot of buildings. And my painting, for the most part, has my issue with my painting is I've had gotten painter's block or analysis paralysis. I'll get something and then I'll have some decision that I have to make. It's not the end of the world, but somehow in my psyche, I kind of make a bigger deal out of it than it really is. So I avoid making a decision and don't work on whatever the item is, or start working on it and change my mind. And I need to break free of that. And with buildings, I've got several buildings that are not complete or I haven't done anything with that. We keep this thing going and we should be in good shape. I just need to break free. And that's why when I painted these vehicles, I hadn't painted a vehicle in 20 years. And I'm like, well, let's just jump in it. And these are really poor castings, anyways. So if they don't turn out great, no harm, no foul. It's not like I went out and bought other stuff. Even though I eye things all the time to buy, I don't, I'm pretty restrained in purchasing new stuff. And yeah, I need to get some of this stuff painted. It's it's good. Hey, maybe it'll somebody else will see it and it'll keep them from getting the paralysis of painting. But it's just psychological because I don't remember the last time I painted something and I wasn't happy with how it turned out. I just need to just jump in and paint my way out, right? Painter's block, because it reminds me of writer's block. Once you get going, you're on a roll, but you just get these stumbling things. keep you from getting things accomplished. And yeah, the World War IIs, we're not going to be done in an evening. Let's put it that way. But I don't think that's the problem for any of us. You know, it doesn't have to be a fast-moving game. You just have to be entertained, or the narrative needs to be interesting. And we'll see. Really enjoyed that Aliens game the other night. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it anymore if the stuff was painted though. So that's kind of cool. Um, I'm scared. I would be scared of painting plastic figures anyways. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I wish they made things out of white metal. I can always paint it if I don't like the outcome. Yes, that's what I have to remember, especially as thin as the paint I put down. I, if you don't like how it turned out, just think of it as more primer. Okay, man, have a good day. Okay. Yeah, we'll be gaming on Monday night. That's the plan, anyways. We'll have some kind of a video, and if too many people show up, it'll be live. We will see. Looking forward to it. But the only thing I don't like about game nights is it has to happen at the end of a workday. And I'm half-ass burned out by that time. So wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is. It does make it a lot easier to take off and go over there since it doesn't take away from any family time because what the hell use am I after work anyways on a weekday? So that part of it works. I'm just burned out. By the time we start playing, I've already been up and doing work for 13 hours or so. So that's why my evening math is no good. Gonna keep the whole white shirt thing going on. Tony's back on. Good afternoon now. Well, good afternoon to you too. You're back on again. Excellent. That's the problem with painting for me is I get bored. I am a terrible multitasker. I'll admit it. Um, I I do what I do at work is very detail oriented, and I want it to be 100% right. And when I paint, I kind of feel the same way. So I can't multitask at work worth a damn. Um, but I feel like painting here, I can because a lot of it is just habit. Several years when he lived in town, my buddy Jeff used to come over once a week on Wednesdays, and he would come over and paint. and I lived alone, and one of the rooms was the paint room. It was just a 11 by 11 room, and I had a one of these fluorescent lamps and a big six, well, I guess at 30 inches wide, 30-inch by 6 foot table, and we'd sit across from each other and jibber jabber. And that's back when we hadn't discovered DBA yet, and we were working on some of these guys right here when we were doing our 20s. And he would leave his paints there and everything, and he'd come over once a week and paint. What would happen is I don't think I'd get any painting done when he wasn't there, because I enjoyed the social aspect of it so much. And this has kind of brought some of that back, even though it's more of a form of a monologue. But I don't, I can't watch TV and do this. Like I said, I'm a terrible multitasker, so I'm not one to ever have the TV on. And what I mean by TV, it may be the internet or movies or something like that playing. If I'm not intently watching, it's just it just ends up becoming some other voice that you're trying to that's trying to distract you. So if I'm watching a movie or something like that in the background, uh, I don't I don't want. I mean, I've got a TV here in this room, and I've tried to paint while having that on, and it doesn't work for me. Even something like books on tape or Audible or whatever, I get bored real easy. So this randomness of what I might say or whatever helps a little bit. But I don't know how many of you are in the same boat. But I wish I could just sit there and bring my painting things over to, like, when we're watching our family sitcoms or something like that, and get some painting done. But it just isn't going to happen. I guess I'm fortunate enough to have an area here. I have my own room that's, as my wife likes to call it, it's not really my man cave, because man cave kind of implies that girls aren't allowed. And if she's in here hanging out and working on something for work or whatever, she can, because I can totally have a conversation and do my hobby. But I don't know. This has become so mindless that I can kind of. I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's a good thing. I can do other things while I'm doing it. The morning ramble, brought to you by coffee, cold coffee. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh boy, here we go. I hear you, Tony. I work 10-hour shifts with a 1 hour community each side. 2 weeks ago, I did four 15-hour shifts in a row. I have really burnt myself out. So you're driving to and from work. Yeah, see, those people that say, "Oh, I'm working for home and I'm so bored." I work at a manufacturing facility slash construction site. So and what I mean by that is, it's not a place it's not like it's a warehouse that's clean. We're in a dusty environment and stuff like that. I mean, I don't work outside, but I do go outside a lot. So I'm constantly hot, and I'm constantly wearing more clothes than I would want to wear. And I don't mean that as sounding like I'm a closet nudist, but I got to wear a hard hat when I go outside, and safety shoes, and I can still wear whatever the hell I want. But just because of I'm not really doing anything dangerous. It's just because, and I would love to work from home and just wear whatever. So those of you that are working from home are not going to get any sympathy from me. Sorry, folks. That, and right now we're in our cold season, right? So the temperatures have been running. Maybe they'll get up to 70 degrees, but in the 30s and 40s at night. So the temperature's been very pleasant for Florida. And as soon as it gets into like the 60s, those sons of bitches will turn the freaking heater on in the office. So I can't control the temperature either. So You guys that are sitting at home in your underwear doing your work, you guys aren't going to get any sympathy from me. Sorry. I wish I could do that for, hell, just one day. Just one day. So, as I like to say, do you dislike your job? I dislike the conditions I have to do it under. That makes sense. So, anywho, and it's been that way for, well, in April it'll be 27 years. So, and I'm not that old. I just I'm too lazy to find another job. I don't know. It's just a job, right? I'm fortunate I don't think about it when I'm not there, so that's a blessing. That is a blessing. So, commute each side, not community. Gotcha. Hi, Tony. Good midday here. Nice progress with your Hungarians. Reminds me of my own Hungarian, still unopened. Let's see if I say, I hope I don't bastardize your name. Frayed Amorph. Are you French? We were talking earlier, and I thought you were French, and I'm thinking it's okay if you are, it's okay if you're not. I just kind of like to find out what part of the world you're from. Frayed Amorph. Hopefully, I didn't say that wrong. I join in with a paint and chat on Discord. We get around six guys painting and chatting to each other. I get a lot done. I tried Discord for one of the other channels and I hated it because I couldn't turn the damn thing off. So it like kept sending me like chats while I was like at work and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, this is that it's worse than even Apple Music when I get in the car and all of a sudden I freaking, it's blaring the last song. Because what will happen is I listen to a lot of YouTube stuff in the car, and don't necessarily look at the screen, but just the background stuff on the YouTube, and I got to turn the volume up a lot more on the YouTube than I do like on Apple Music, and yeah, I've had the life scared out of me a couple of times when I turn on the car and the volume's like around 50, and ends up blaring something. So. Da, 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 da. You have to wear a bulletproof vest. 35°C to 40°C. Yeah, your temperatures are terrible right now. Yeah. It's Australia's hot for sure. Yeah, that's us in the summer. So yeah. My job in the summer, I really dislike the temperature in the summer, going in and out. So which is funny because I'm always hot all the time. Mitch is always cold naturally, and he works in a freezer, and I work at a construction site. Irony much? So, a bulletproof vest. You're in law enforcement, I would imagine. Yeah, you don't want me doing that job. I wouldn't have done well in law enforcement. I could just see with my personality and dealing with numbnuts, I would. I'd end up getting into a. It wouldn't be good. Let's just leave it at that. I wouldn't want to arrest the second guy like three times. I'd have to make sure it didn't happen a fourth time. That wouldn't be good. You don't want me in that. 27 years as well. Well, good. Good. I don't understand people that hop around, you know. if they don't have to. So, work sucks. Let's just get through it till we get to retirement age, and then we can just kind of just do whatever, right? Well, hopefully you're not bringing home work with you and reliving that kind of experience. You are from Deutschland. Okay, perfect. The land of beer. Uh-oh. People in the UK are going to get pissed off. I had no idea that people in the UK and well, who's on here? Oh, Harvey's on here, but Harvey's German as well, so he'll understand. I believe you are. Oh shit! Did I give your cover away? Germany, the land of beer. Well, I don't know if it's there, but that's what that's England is the land of toys, or the UK is the land of toys. I got to say UK. I don't want to use England because there's excellent miniature manufacturers in Scotland as well. Um, but yeah, Germany is the land of beer. I don't see. I've been out of stuff for a while. Um, that's not DDA related stuff, but just getting back into my World War IIs. 20 years ago, it seemed like the World War II type gaming wasn't really common in Germany for obvious reasons. I can understand why, but there's actually a group that I'm members of. I haven't done anything with it, but they're coming up with some kind of skirmish game, 1/72 scale. I don't remember what it's called. It has a very generic type name right now, but that group's actually in Germany, and I don't remember what it is. But I'm a member of their Facebook page. But I saw it, or maybe I saw them do a playthrough, and it looked very zoomed in or very granular, which is what I enjoy for my World War II stuff. So, but yeah, I was surprised that they were in in Germany. Maybe the situation's kind of changed a little bit, but 20 years ago, it didn't seem like there was much wargaming there. Certainly not World War II wargaming. As I know you guys you can't put certain flags on your vehicles for air recognition. Okay. But I mean, even without that, even if you don't do stuff like that, it was, just, it didn't seem like there was much of that. So, okay, we're going to, my daughter would love to go to Germany because you guys let kids her age have a beer, which there's nothing wrong with, under parental supervision. And we're going to have a couple tips anyways. Okay. Did we bring that far enough? Let's look at another completed bow. No, we need to add some white to that. And speaking of white, we probably need to add a fresh little batch there. So this is starting to curl up, but I haven't put water on this in like 2 weeks. So it's actually still kind of moist. But, so we'll probably be doing that later today, is changing the diaper on this thing. I got to start looking for a source for these because I've only got like 30 of these left, of these little paper things. And I guess I could just use parchment paper, but I don't mind buying the real ones. And I'm pretty sure they come from overseas. So we need to plan that a little bit so that we don't run out. It's going to be one of those things that the shipping's more than the cost of the actual item, I'm sure. Just above freezing here in England. It's trying to snow. I didn't realize that you guys aren't known for having a lot of snow in England. I would have thought that maybe it's just because you're between the two bodies of water. I'm not really sure how it works. I'm not a science guy. I say that a lot. I'm a map guy. So I'm all about maps. I'm that guy who never gets lost. It's kind of what I do for a living too, but that's not why I'm good at it. I got it from my dad, honestly. He always big into maps, even before this Google Earth and stuff, which I spend a lot of time on Google Earth. So it's really funny. I find that a lot of people are really ignorant of how to get from point A to point B. It's really quite amazing. Um, that's what I do. Uh, we all have our specializations. Australia is the land of beer abuse. Germany produces excellent beer, but generally lager, bottom fermented beer. England still produces the top fermented ales. Okay, I like them all. I follow a couple of German YouTube channels, and they are huge World War II gamers. Oh, okay. I think here wargaming is a small community. Apparently, I don't drink much beer, so I'm no expert in that regard. The Gulf Stream tends to even out the temperatures in the UK. Okay, cool. Yeah, that damn Gulf Stream. That's uh, that's why, as I say, that's why my ancestors Gulf Stream. That's the reason my ancestors ended up crashing on Ireland and gave because kept all the Irish from being red haired and freckled. Uh, oh man. All right, we're done with the bow. I'm gonna give this guy a fancy hat. Let's go ahead and do his accoutrements. And, boy, I can't see that far. That's like 2 feet away, and I'm nearsighted as fuck. That'd be a good That'd be a good name for a channel. Nearsighted as fuck. True story. This will show you how ignorant I am. Some of you will find that this is ignorant, but I thought it was actually kind of surprising. When my vision started going, I've corrected vision. I've been nearsighted my whole life, as long as I can remember. My vision hadn't changed for about 35 years. I've been running at it. For those of you this is Chinese. For those of you that aren't nearsighted and don't know what prescription things, but my prescription ran at a -6.5 forever. It didn't change really until I got to make sure I find the right color here. Until a few years ago, when I started getting when you turn 45, everything goes to shit. Not really turn to shit, but it's just you have new issues. And that was my new issues, not being able to see things that were closer to me, which is really weird for somebody who's nearsighted, right? Because our whole MO, our entire life, there it is, it was out here. Our whole thing, our entire life is I need to get closer to my eye to see it better. And when it starts getting blurry when you get closer. It's kind of screws with you. Anyway, so that happened to me about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And because I would just have my contacts in, I'm 2020, and I would paint all of my painting, all these guys, everything that I did before 2016 was all done in 2020 vision. So I ended up buying a pair of readers. I ended up getting the most powerful pair of readers that I could find at Walgreens. These are plus 325s. Cheap, like $20 or whatever these were, $15, something like that. And used them for a while. And then they started not being good enough. So then I'm like, man, what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to give up painting. I'm not going to start painting bigger scales. So I came upon the great idea of just taking my contacts out, and I have a built-in plus 6.5 already. And it never dawned on me that, I know this sounds stupid, but I always thought that it's, oh, my vision's wrong, and it's not. It's just focused improperly. So I'm like, I've got a built-in superpower that I got to use now. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's it was kind of it's just really weird to find out something about yourself that you've had your entire life, and you wait until you're half dead to figure it out, But yeah, that was my experience. I just paint with contacts out, and this is more zoom than I would need. So as soon as I started doing that, um, my f- it wasn't that I saw better than when I was been painting in 2020, but I'm enjoying the figures more. Like I'm noticing all the stuff more. It's bigger. It makes the figure significantly bigger as you see it, so you get to enjoy the all the wonderful details that the sculptor put in them. Don't necessarily think I'm painting any better or any worse. It's just, it is what it is. So one of those things people say, hey, I can't see too well. Let me get one of those optivisors or whatever. Yeah, well, I need one that goes 6.5, or I'm better off just painting without contacts. So that's what I'll say. I have to look at something far away, and I have to put on my glasses, because I can't make out the details that far. But it's not very inconvenient. I thought that whole not being able to see things up close was going to be more annoying than it is. Um, I don't use bifocals or anything like that in my everyday. I just, because my focal distance here when I'm painting, what is this, like maybe 7 inches, 8 inches from the figure? That's comfortable for me. So I don't know. Little tip there. I don't know. I was surprised. You'll figure out how this body works by the time you're on your deathbed, right? Uh, One of my chores at work as a land search coordinator, I had to learn maps. It was a chore. Thank God for GPS. I love maps, and regardless of GPS, I like technology, but when it doesn't work, when it doesn't work properly, I wish it had never been invented. It's really frustrating when something's supposed to make your life easier and it makes it more complicated. So, oh, good night, Paul. Oh, -6.5. I'm about -11. I hope it doesn't get worse. Holy shit, dude. You're blind as hell. Mein Gott! It's good that that's correctable. Dude, you ought to be a great painter. Yeah, that's bad. Wow, that's really bad. Whew. I think it goes to like -15 or something like that, right? So it won't get worse. It won't get worse. They actually, if I get glasses, they actually dialed my prescription down to a -6 to kind of counter effect the effects of that. But and I'm not doing that surgery thing. Screw that. I'm not losing my eyes. That would be bad. I wouldn't be a very good candidate for going blind. I don't think I'd take it really well. You like painting too much too. Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep that going. There's there's too few of us painters. There's too few of us painters. What was really cool is Several years ago, I decided on a whim to paint a background to photograph my figures on. But again, I kind of got painter's block and I was scared. Instead, I just said, F it. I found a free canvas that somebody gave me. I used my craft paints and I painted a background. I liked it so much, I've got four or five more. And it was really easy to do. Now, I'm not saying I'm like a Rembrandt or anything, but I'm just saying for somebody who had never done it before, you know, we're working on skills that we don't even know we have. I'm not sure that's how I wanted to say it, but you know what I'm getting at. I mean, we're developing skills that even when we're not using them, we have a clue when we're doing other artistic stuff. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. And I keep thinking I need to paint something for the house or whatever. I went to go visit the mother-in-law's house in Miami last week. We were down in Miami for a wedding, and she had just redone her house, and she had bought these paintings that she asked me how I liked them, and there's no way I could have painted them because as a painter, I just can't paint random crap. Sorry. Look, there's everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but as somebody who paints, there is some kind of art, there's artwork I don't like, okay? And that's okay, just like there's music I don't like. But I can't really appreciate artwork that doesn't take a lot of effort to create. I can see that if it's like, oh, like that's a Monet, and maybe I don't like Monet's style because it's too blurry or whatever, but he didn't do it in 30 seconds. And there was some thought that went into it and balance and stuff like that. But just throwing colors up on a wall is not my. You don't want me to be an art critic. Let's put it that way. She'd ask me, "Hey, can you paint something for me like this?" And I'm like, "Nope, I can't do it. It would kill my soul. I couldn't do it." But that's okay if you like that. That's you know that's your thing. But as someone, it would be like if you ask someone like Emerald to go watch somebody making eggs, and the person breaks open an egg and leaves the shell in it and drops it, and that's it. There's your egg. Like, dude, you didn't do anything, you know? And you got freaking eggshell in it, and you didn't even warm it up. That's not making eggs. Well, that's how I make eggs. Okay, dude. You can make eggs however you want, but I ain't eating them that way. There you go. There's my comparison. That's why I'm always patting the back of these guys that do the sculpting of these figures. The unsung heroes. These guys are freaking brilliant. You know, these guys that sculpt the little dudes we actually play with, they're amazing. And I just don't feel like they get enough credit. And the funny thing is some of them are probably going around, "Oh, I don't know how you paint my stuff." Dude, painting this is easy. You're the one sculpting it out of nothing, you know? So we're just doing paint by numbers. You guys are creating, nothing out of something. Yeah, the unsung heroes. If it wasn't for the sculptors, what would we be doing? Tony the art critic. I remember I was in college and I took an art appreciation class. This is probably 1990, what was it? 92, 93, something like that. And I still remember to this day, the teacher goes, teacher was one of those kumbaya types. And like, well, you can't say the art is good art or bad art. And I'm like, well, I can tell you the person didn't have any talent. And she didn't like me after that. No, there's different styles. Um, there's a lot of music I don't like, but I can still listen to it and go, man, that took a lot of talent to practice the guitar that way because I'm not musically inclined at all. But I can tell you that some things, even though I don't like the sound of it, took a lot of effort to kind of get it going. But um, poo slinging artwork, nah, that's not my you know, give a chimp a brush type of stuff. That's not my thing. If you like that, that's cool. You're the customer. You can do it however you want. Just don't ask me what I really think about it. That's the art version of. Does this make me look fat? Do you like this painting? Nope. But that's okay. It's your house. No surgery have been talked out of it by experts. Yeah, and the longer we wait, the less of an incentive there is. I'll be 50 this year, so yeah, I'll get surgery when I have to, if I have cataracts or something like that. But until then, you know, haven't been able to pick up a brush for a couple weeks now. Uh-oh. You're right. I'm a big fan of front rank Napoleonics. I always say to Alec Brown, I just color what you've sculpted. Yeah, I'm not familiar with those. I think front rank are kind of big. I'm not really in the know for Napoleonics, and I'm not really in the know for 28s. So I know that they're 28s, and I think front ranks are kind of big, but I don't know what they look like. But yeah, the sculptor does all the work. The sculptor does all the work. Front rank. I keep getting those mixed up with First Core. First Core. They used to be the store we used to go to Tampa carried First Core in 28s, and I want to say the ones they had weren't Napoleonics. They were like World War II or something like that, and they were god awful looking. I thought, um, but I've painted what I would consider some god awful figures, and it's still better than I would have sculpted. And you can still make god awful things look okay with a decent paint job. That's actually one of my things is I enjoy painting second tier figures. And what I mean by second tier figures are figures that have been around so long and nobody gives them a second look like, oh yeah, those guys, you know? But they paint up okay. Um, they can paint up okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to an art museum. Tony goes to an art museum and I'll film it and I'll put it on my channel. That might be good for yucks. Half the people will laugh and the other half the people will be offended. I don't really want to do controversial stuff. There's plenty of people that do that kind of stuff. I don't want to pretend that I'm someone I'm not, but at the same time, I don't need to, I'm not interested in fighting a war or something like that. I don't, I don't like getting into arguments you can't win, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion on stuff, so that's cool. I don't, I don't like controversy. There's enough of it in the world already. There's enough people creating controversy for us to all fight over while they do what they please with us. Oh, that's it. Went too far. That's one of the reasons I stopped going to the miniatures page. The miniatures page was really cool back in the early 2000s, and they started adding all these bulletin boards about politics and food. Like, why do I want to go to a war game site or a hobby site and like argue about what hot dog is the best or who's your candidate or, like, no. I, you know, let's talk about things we have in common, not things that separate us. Okay, I've got to go wake up the Deuter and do swim practice. I will be back in a matter of, say, 5 minutes, and then we'll do the last 15. All right. She's a synchronized swimmer, and what temperature is it right now? Probably in the 30s. Let's see, can I pull that? Is that on my phone? No, it doesn't show that right now when I'm on the video. It's probably in the 30s, and she's going to go and get in that. Good for her. 'Cause I love cold weather, but I don't like being wet in it. Been there, done that. All right, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Old Mike's models are great fun to paint. They are. They're weird looking, but they're cool. I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, I've got some. Well, I don't have any of the ancients and medievals. I have some of their Renaissance stuff, and they're kind of. Well, I've got a soldier, and I've got some guys that look exactly like the old comic strips Ziggy. They're just kind of unique. Um, a quality job of basing is also necessary. A great paint job stuck on a sand base, monotone color isn't too good either. Yeah, yeah, like this. I still like my old figures, but look at this old 1990s paint job basing. It sucks. So we're gonna work on these guys as we do some other basing. So we'll get them up to speed. So even with figures, there are different tastes and styles. My son goes for what I call the dirty look, whereas I like my figures a little brighter. Okay. Took some old figures from 30 years ago, rebased them and look completely new. I like the Perrys. I've been to some shows and tried some sculpting myself. My efforts are real clumsy in comparison, but the Perrys are really helpful and cool. I like the twins. I was getting ready to say I don't like the Perrys because they don't make anything in the right scale. But they used to make some 20 millimeter World War II stuff, which 20 years ago had been out of production and was really hard to get a hold of. And I see that the Foundry has re-released them. They make some of the best tank crews ever. Those War Games Foundry 20 millimeter tank crew guys. Those are some of the best figures ever. So I've got those. So I keep doing these 20 millimeter vehicles. You're going to see some of those. As soon as I get a vehicle that has the hatches open, I'm not scared of putting figures in vehicles for added ambiance. But yeah, I don't do 28s. I don't do 28s. And I'm probably never going to do 28s. Let's just hope I don't have to paint 28s to be able to see them. Because if I did 28s, I'd spend even more time on each figure. I just don't have I just don't have it in me to spend that kind of time on a figure. And I also don't have it in me to do a crappier job on a bigger figure. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, if I'm doing this kind of a job on a 15, I got to do an even better job on a 28, and I just don't have the time to do it. Um, but yeah, I hear good things about them. But they got some 15s that they used to make. I think I got a couple of those. I think I got I think my Burgundian gun, somebody sold it to me, or I don't remember, man. My memories, I'm involved in so many things, but I was looking for a Burgundian gun a couple of years ago, and somebody sent one to me or something like that that had an extra one from their Perry castings in 15. And but I do have some of their 20s. Their foot figures are kind of on the big side. Like I have some Soviet figures, and I've got some French partisans as well, a few. Um, Neither of which I've painted. Hey, maybe we'll solve that in 2021, right? We'll get some of those guys painted. But their tank crews are excellent. Really, really good. Really, really good. So, and see, with doing the World War II skirmish already in 20s and thinking like the figures are kind of on the big side anyways, if I did 28s, I'd have to do something like Three Musketeers or something like really zoomed in or whatever. I had a One of my first wargaming experiences in the late 80s was this guy that there's this old set of rules. I want to say they're even made by Frank Chadwick called On Guard. And it's almost like a character creation type of game, not a miniatures game set in the time period of the Three Musketeers. And he had some 28 millimeter, maybe they were 25s at that time, Three Musketeers figures that we would use to, when duels were done, we would actually play a little 3D type of game. But that was a cool game. That was a cool game. And it's difficult to find because if you look up On Guard game, there's all kinds of other versions of it. And I think the new Osprey rules are also called On Guard. So it's not that one. It's not the one that came around. There's another one that came out at like 2000 or something like that. This is like the one from like 1975 that I played, and it was like a character creation type of role play thing. I think I played it when I was 17, 18, something like that. Always had fond memories of it. Started with 25 millimeter ancients, pretty basic figures, Perry chaps, up to quality, but shoved the scale right up. That's where 28 millimeters started. So it's their fault. Haha. Well, there's other things too, right? There's like 32s and heroic 28s, and I don't know. There's a lot of nice figures now in those larger scales, but I just don't have the time to devote to them that they would require, in my opinion, for me to be happy with a paint job. All right, let's get the most useful Vallejo metallic color out there, in my opinion. Of course, it's in my opinion. Everything's in your own opinion. And this is, I've almost gone through this whole thing, but this is, using it for 20 years. Bronze. And where's Bronze Corner? Back over here. Yeah, and you got to do the scales that people around you do. So, like, no one around me ever did ancients and medievals, and nobody did ancients or they didn't do anything in that in the larger scale. So, you know, I still find it very alien that a company will manufacture figures and the rules. It's not in my psyche for that to be the case. And I see where they would want to do that, but it opens themselves up to the whole, well, we've got to change the rules to sell more figures. And I'm not sure if that's why it's done, but it sure seems suspect of that. But I grew up, you either made figures or you made the rules. So, and by figures, I mean, miniatures. So we played with Micro Armor before there was Micro Armor the game. I spend I spend way too much time doing this process to have somebody just snuff all the effort that I did by creating a new edition. Which it's fine if you make it better, but I don't want you rendering the time that I've spent on this out the window. Okay. I've said before, 20 years from now, I'm probably still going to be playing some DBA type of game. Can't guarantee it'll be DBA 3.0, but it'll be similar to it. It'll be similar in scale, and I'll still use my figures. I'm not going to stop using these guys. So I like the color little hat I did to this. I think what we did is we mixed a little bit of brown to get that color right. Let's do that. Oh, but this is the same pose, so let's change this up a little bit. Let's get a creamy color out here. Okay. And what kind of browns are out here right now? We got that one. I don't have to squeeze more of them out. Let's try using this. Let's see what kind of a color we get with this. Let's get a new, running out of clear space here. Let's get some of this in here and some of this. All right, and then we'll pretend this is the base color. And let's add some black. Yeah, I'm wondering to what degree the 28 millimeter scale was created to get people that grew up on Warhammer to join in. I wonder to what degree that had an effect on it. See, that part doesn't really appeal to me because I've never played Warhammer in my life. I'm just not into fantasy. Gaming for me has always been a way to learn about a particular period and then take part in it. So, you want me to learn about Napoleonic stuff? Get me to start painting Napoleonics. But that's just how I operate. That might not be the case for other people. But I never played Warhammer stuff. So, the fact that there may be a correlation between that. And 20 years ago, there weren't that many 28 millimeter figures I cared for. Now there are. There's lots of. One in particular, it's called Steel Fist. They make like Renaissance stuff. Man, their stuff is beautiful. But I'm not going down that road. But it used to be that there weren't any that I liked. Now there's plenty. It's just, it's a little too late. That train has sailed. That train has sailed. Yeah, no. You know what I mean. You remember back in the early 80s, Games Workshop started producing medievals, great figures, but huge against the standard minifig, Hinchcliffe or Garrison, too big to be called 28 millimeter. I don't know that I've ever seen minifigs in 25s. I love their 15s. I really do. They're some of my favorite figures, despite their age and static posing. I really like them quite a bit. All right. Let's see if we can. No, that's a little much. Let's work ourselves up to that. It took me a long time to stop calling Games Workshop stuff Citadel. Because, in the late 80s, that's what they were called, Citadel. I want to give this hat kind of a look of a. I don't know what exactly this is made out of. It might be some kind of a felt on the real hat, but it looks almost like sheepskin that's turned inside out or something like that. So that's where we're going to kind of go with on the look. Yeah, steel fists are beautiful figures, but I'll do 15 millimeter instead. Yeah, I'd never get them done. Yeah, they're freaking gorgeous. They're absolutely incredible looking. Minifigs produce ancient figures based on illustrations of Phil Barker's ancient. Yep. This became the go-to range. Yep. Exactly. Okay, folks. Well, it's I got to get going. I got to get the daughter ready for a swim. But thanks for hanging out with me. We almost got this guy done. Well, we're working on him. So then after that, we've got two more archers to do, and then they'll be complete. But anyhow, thanks for hanging with me, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. See you later, folks. Bye-bye.